WikiAfrica Hour, where Africa's Wikimedians talk to, learn from, and discuss with each other topics they choose. Each session is curated by African Wikimedians to expand Africa's open movement. Today's host is Cecilus Obanyaya.
Hello, lovers of free knowledge. I am Noni Ndlasha, and welcome to another new episode of WikiAfrica Hour, the monthly podcast to support the activities of the WikiAfrica movement and Wikimedians across Africa. Today is Friday, the 8th of September, 2023, and I'm glad to share this month's news update. We start with news about Wikimedia movement strategy. The Universal Code of Conduct Committee draft charter is now ready for your review. The U4C Building Committee is inviting feedback about the draft charter. The deadline is 22nd September 2023. Now moving to GLAM. Do you want to help spread knowledge about OpenRefine, support Wikimedians and their partners by using OpenRefine to contribute to Wikimedia Commons and other Wikimedia projects? Then you should apply for the OpenRefine Wikimedia Trainer, the Train online course, which will run from November 2023 until April 2024. You can apply until the 15th of September to join the course. And now some news on Wikimedia conferences. The Wikimania 2023 core organizing team would like to take a survey if you have participated in person or online. Respond to the survey to share what worked well and what could be improved. The EduWiki Conference 2024 core team would want your input on how this annual conference has been done. Fill out the survey to shape the next EduWiki conference. And finally, a quick announcement on training opportunities. Wikimedia is participating in the Outreach Iran 27 internship program. Outreach's goal is to support people from groups underrepresented in the technology industry. Interns will work remotely with mentors from our community. Mentors are invited to propose projects that Outreach interns can work on during the internship. If you have some ideas for coding or non-coding projects, share them on September 29th, 2023 at 1600 UTC. The campaign programs team at the Wikimedia Foundation is excited to announce version 2 of the Organizer Lab. This call is open to all Wikimedia community organizers with local organizing experience who embrace the potential of the Wikimedia movement to mobilize around topics for impact and are ready to enhance their international organizing skills. To apply to join the cohort, please read the instructions on Meta, where you'll find an application form. The application deadline is 17th of September 2023. And last but not least, on behalf of the Wiki in Africa team and of course the global Wikimedia space, we would like to wish our very own Florence Devora a happy birthday as she celebrates this coming Sunday. We love and appreciate you. You can do all the news updates in the newsroom section on the Africa Hour Meta page and the action links in the description. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Noni. I apologize for that break in transmission. I was failed by technology. And with that, I welcome us officially to the episode 30 of the Wiki Africa Hour, which is titled Echoes from Wikimania Conference 2023. The biggest global conference in the Wikimedia space, of course, is the Wikimania Conference. And it just got concluded in Singapore for the 2023 edition. And of course, the conference hosted Wikimedians and people of like minds from across the globe. with some persons of course, joining remotely, and some others were able to be there in flesh. And we are lucky to have some African Wikimedians who were also able to, get the scholarship to attend the in-person event in Singapore. What was the conference sessions or programs like? How were the first-time participants supported across board? And what were the takeaways and remarkable moments for these first-time participants, etc.? While we have some recordings from some in-person attendees we met in Singapore, we have also invited the following amazing guests to join us live to perhaps respond to some of these questions today and share their experience. We have Pellagia Njau. Pellagia is an IT specialist and also an IT broadcaster engineer precisely. She is a Kiwix ambassador and a Wikimedian who started participating in Wikimedia activities in 2017 from an editathon, of course, which was held in Swahili by Wikimedia Community User Group Tanzania. She participated in Wiki Loves Women editathon event, which involved curating articles on notable women in Tanzania. In 2019, she participated in the East Africa Strategy Salon, which was held in Uganda. She is, of course, a member of the Wikimedia Community User Group in the region, Tanzania precisely, and she was also a scholar who benefited from the Wikimania 2023 scholarship. Next, we have Carol Mwaura, who is also an African Wikimedian who got the scholarship to attend the 2023 Wikimania conference. Carol is a Kenyan librarian and also a co-founder of the Wikimedia Community User Group Kenya. In 2021, of course, she joined the Wiki Loves Women focus group, which focuses on contributing towards the UN's 5 SDG, SDG number 5, precisely, which borders around gender and equity, achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. She was also the Wikipedian in residence for Code for Africa Climate Change Initiative. And she has been involved in Art and Feminism, precisely that of 2022 campaign, and Wiki for Human Rights 2022. Please welcome our special guests as we engage them. Hello, Carol, and hello, Pellagia.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Pleasure. Thank you for finding time to join us. We'll just start with Pellagia herself. Pellagia, it's safe to say you wore a double hat at the Wikimania, or precisely, could you tell us, did you attend as a Kiwix ambassador or as a member of the Wikimedia Tanzania user group?
Oh, thank you, Sir Klaus. I attended Wikimania as a Wikimedian from Tanzania to present Tanzania Wikimedia, but also I had a presentation on Kiwix program with Open Foundation West Africa. Yeah.
Interesting combination there. Yes, I think I remember the very presentation with the Ofwa team on Kiwix. How about you, Carol? Was it the librarian that we had at the Wikimania or the member from the Wikimedia Kenya? Please let us know.
So, hello everyone. I represented Wikimedia Community User Group, courtesy of a collaboration with Wikimedia Deutschland. So actually my sponsorship was from Wikimedia Deutschland. And yeah, that is how I got to represent Wikimedia Kenya and at the same time the InnoLab collaboration.
Okay, this is an interesting twist. So, someone from the African continent could be sponsored by, a chapter all the way in Europe. Interesting twist. But then we'll probably have that addressed later. When we were at the Wikimania, we asked, of course, a few of our fellow Africans what they thought about the Wikimania 2023 conference. We'll hear from them, of course, very soon. But first, let's hear what Caro and Pellagia have to say. Starting with you, Pellagia, what was your first impression about the conference?
Okay, thank you. I remember I received an email from Butch, if I'm not mistaken, like a congratulation email. I used to love congratulation emails. So for that time, I was very delighted, and I really desire to join or to have these Wikimania conferences in person, because most of the time we used to join on online, the video conference, due to the COVID. So for that time, I was very excited about that email. Yeah.
Okay, and coming to you, Carol. I mean, what was your first impression about the conference, especially when you got to know that Wikimedia Deutschland was going to sponsor you?
So scholarships came, they were announced, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to through the Wikimania Singapore team. So later, I got from one of the people that we collaborate with, the person in charge of our small project, writing me an email and telling me, hey, I think we will consider getting you to Singapore. Then I was really shocked, because sincerely I didn't expect that. I didn't expect, I even didn't know that other communities can support other small communities to attend. So I am not, I was just there numb and not sure, am I going to make it, or is this for real? Because in the past in our community, I remember talking to one of our community member, and we were there saying, hey, it seems, how can we get to Singapore? We just wanted to get to Singapore for this after COVID one-on-one session with, a meetup. So I think it came as a shock, and I was really, really excited. And I think the first thing I did was to check where my passport was. Yeah.
That's a very, very intriguing situation. I could imagine after getting a no from the organizing team, and then somebody taps you by the shoulder and, hey, get ready, you're going. You'll be blown away, absolutely. And in fact, I would give anything to experience that kind of joy. Okay, thank you for sharing the glimpse of the excitement you got when you were notified. Now let's hear what other Wikimedians we met in Singapore have to say about the conference.
So far, so good. The experience has really been out of this world, out of this space. I mean, this is my first Wikimania, and meeting people from diverse background, and also also I'm a newbie, and also being at this conference is not as easy as we can think it can. But then it has been a great experience. Workshops, round tables, and various discussions and connections. They have been so much instrumental. Nice.
Wikimania experience has been quite insightful. I'm learning a lot and networking, making friendships, and I can't explain it. The food here in Singapore is great.
Yes,
the people are friendly. The weather though, neither here or there, but I really love the experience here. It's really unmatched to actually meet people, and people who we always see on Zoom. It's quite different when you put them on one space and we get to interact on a face-to-face kind of level and get to have like real life conversations. There's nothing that beats that. So I'm quite excited that we have that platform here today.
Oh, comme on le dit en anglais, it's the place to be. J'aime beaucoup tout ce que je suis en train de vivre actuellement. J'apprends énormément, je rencontre des personnes. Vous savez, quand on est contributeur Wikipédia, on passe la plupart du temps derrière l'ordinateur à écrire, à faire des corrections. mais c'est une occasion inoubliable de rencontrer en personne tous ces contributeurs-là que vous connaissez juste à travers des usernames. Vous les rencontrez, vous parlez, vous échangez, vous rencontrez des porteurs de projets, et puis même rencontrer les cofondateurs de Wikipédia, c'est wow, c'est amazing, comme on le dit. C'est vraiment génial pour moi d'être ici.
I can say the conference was very nice for me. It was my first experience. I got a lot of knowledge, good experience that I can go and do a lot of things in the Wikimedia. The thing that I liked most was the Wiki Women Summit. Yeah, I was very excited. I was very happy to be with my fellow women, campaign for the Wiki programs. And a lot of things were really nice in this Wikimedia.
Alors, par rapport aux activités, déjà, parlons d'abord de l'organisation, parce que je pense que c'est une organisation qui a été très bien faite. Des programmations vraiment intéressantes qui est faite dans son ensemble. Il n'y a pas de sessions qui sont le coup. Et le respect du temps, tout ça là, ça a été formidable. Voilà. Il y a eu en fait, j'ai aimé énormément les sessions qui ont été déroulées parce que le programme a été hyper enrichissant et adapté en fait aux réalités en fait actuelles. Notamment quand on parle aujourd'hui, beaucoup de gens pensent que voilà l'intelligence artificielle, par exemple le chat GPT vient mettre fin en fait à Wikipédia. Donc, il y a eu des avis en fait assez diversifiés sur la question. Je pense que participer à cette conférence là et des sessions en fait animées par exemple par Danny Walsh et autres ont permis en fait de mieux qualifier la chose et ont permis de voilà de mettre un point sur certaines choses par rapport à l'avenir en fait de Wikipédia et de projet Wikimedia. Donc c'est des choses qui m'ont énormément marqué. J'ai également été marqué, bon, il y a les sessions organisées par l'Africa Balaza. Donc il y a regroupé beaucoup d'Africains. On sent que l'inclusion en fait dans cette Wikimania là, il y a une forte communauté africaine qui est là. Et vraiment on se sent chez nous, même ici à Singapour. Voilà, c'est comme si on est chez nous en Afrique. C'est quelque chose qui est extraordinaire. Que voilà, que déjà pour remercier l'organisation pour ça.
Thank you so much, Nani, for showing those fun clips. Despite the fact that the audio is not so great, I mean, it was very busy at the Wikimania, and we had to take the opportunity of maybe people just walking out of their maybe sessions that they attended to literally snatch them off the walkway to bench them to get them to share those interesting facts with us. So please apologies for the bad audio. Then, coming back to you, Pelagia, despite these interesting testimonies, some people are of the opinion that we should, in fact, stop wasting resources on in-person conferences. 2021 to Wikimania conferences were online, no thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. Do you think that the virtual conferences, Pellagia, are better than the in-person conferences in the Wikimedia space, owing to the fact that, of course, it's safe to say you've tasted a bit of, both worlds, the virtual conference and the just concluded in-person Wikimedia in Singapore? If yes, please, why? And if no, also let us know why you think otherwise.
Yeah, I attended Wikimania in visually 2022, and it was a very good experience, I would say. But Wikimania 2023 was the best experience ever. As you know, when you meet a person, like a one-to-one discussion is better than when you have that discussion online. So for me, 2023 Wikimania physical conference are better because when you meet a person and discuss something, when you come up with something big when compared to when you have it online. So Wikimania in Singapore, gave me a space for discussion, collaboration, also networking. Yeah, so I say like a visual conference are not that much good as physical conference, as you can have a discussion, one-to-one discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting revelation. In fact, some of us started networking at the Doha airport in Qatar when we bumped into each other while waiting for our connecting flight to Singapore. But then, there's nothing that beats the face to face interface of communication. And how about you, Carol? What do you think? Do you think that virtual conferences are better, and why? And if you think otherwise, that in-person conferences are better, please share your reasons with us.
Um, I also attended the 2022 online conference, and to say the truth, there is no way you could compare an in-person and an online one. The fact that you get to meet people, and I think COVID taught us the essence of having people around you and just talking, and in one span you are with people, the next the whole world was a shutdown. So for me, I will go for the in-person. They bring out the many collaborations, the diversity, and as according to the theme on diversity, collaboration in future, that is exactly what I saw when I saw so many people coming together, having so many discussions. And I will say, even for me, I never finished talking with the people I was supposed to talk to. Time was limited, but bringing people together is one great thing that I think the foundation should embrace instead of the online, and especially after a pandemic. Yeah.
Sincerely, you couldn't have said it better, because after the pandemic, people were just itching to get
Yeah.
out. The comedians were itching to meet. And for some of us who, deal with the issues of the internet, like I just dealt with some moments ago, yeah, I mean, the online or virtual conference could easily get served by these difficulties. But then at the Suntech event center, I just need to ask somebody, oh, did you see Carol? Oh, yes, I saw her in room 325. And I'll bust into room 225 and get to discuss whatever I needed to discuss with Carol. So, indeed, I think, comparing the pros and the cons, the in-person conferences are way better and much more advantageous. And then our fellow African Wikimaniacs were also asked about moments that stood out for them, you know, at the just concluded in-person Wikimania. We definitely find out what they said. But first, let's hear from Peggy or Pellagia and Carol. I mean, the 2023 Wikimedia conference program was super packed, guys. Back to back fun sessions that I wished I could, share myself into 5 parts to be able to attend all. But unfortunately, it was just me, myself, and I. So, were there specific moments, Pelagia, that stood out for you at the conference? Please share with us.
Okay. For me, I have so many moments which I was excited about, but I will share some of them. To attend the Wiki Women discussion was a very great opportunity from my side, as I was able to meet different women and see what they're doing. So in the issue of gender gap in terms of content, participation, I was able to realize and see what they're doing. So for me, Wiki Women discussion was a very good thing for me. But also, I'm doing Kiwik to my country, Tanzania, and I was able to, like, you see who is the founder for Kiwik, and you just see it online. So meeting Emmanuel Ijbat as a founder for Kiwix, for me, it was a nice experience, I would say. Like, we meet him in person and discuss some issues and all that. So for me, it was an exciting moment. But also, I can say, like, we had some discussion online with some of the members, Wikimedia members. So to meet them in person was also a very good and exciting thing for me. And lastly, I will say social excitement is exploring Singapore City was also a good thing. Visiting Marina Bay, Garden by the Bay, it was a good thing for me. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pelagia. I would have been vexed if you didn't mention how amazing Singapore looked, because that on its own, was, I mean, a moment to live, and it was fun being there. Thank you, Carol. What moments stood out for you at the conference?
I think I have a million and one things that stood out for me. I loved the first thing, the lighting talks. An opportunity for speakers to showcase their work in a very short time. That really stood out for me, and actually, that is one of the things I am borrowing for my community and also for my work as a librarian. I loved those sessions because since not everybody was able to have a whole paper presenting, but the lighting talks were just amazing. Anybody could just present whatever small project they could. Then the poster session was also amazing to see different work from different people around the world. Then, of course, the Wiki Women Summit was also everything for me. I loved connecting with so many women I had met online and I had interacted with. And the hallway track, just meeting people on the hallway was one amazing thing that I could even recognize. Hey, is that you, Sesla? Is that you, Noni? Is that you, Pelagia? Or whoever I met. It was amazing to see. Yeah, I have seen you in a certain meeting. So the hallway track was just amazing. The African Baraza was also an ice on the cake, meeting all the Africans in one space and talking things that we are able to share so much about the African community. And then, of course, the closing ceremony and exploring Singapore. I think I had so many great highlights, but exploring Singapore, the closing ceremony, everything was just great. And of course, the organizing, how everything was organized was really good for me.
Interesting, Carol. You just, went all the way out, the whole 9 yards. You didn't even, reserve anything for imagination. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And now let's hear what the other Wikimaniacs had to say.
What stood out for me, I would say we got to reveal that Wikimania 2025 is going to happen in Africa. That's quite exciting, and it's going to be in Kenya. I'm excited to be actually part of that whole team. I'm happy and looking forward to even supporting that, because we've been waiting for that kind of moment of having the opportunity to host multimedians across the globe to come to Africa as well, so that we have the same um, experience of hosting, and yeah, also bringing all good things to Africa.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm really excited that we are going to have that opportunity to collaborate, have new partners, and through just hosting that media, a lot is going to happen from there.
Yeah. Bien sûr, il y a énormément de sessions qui ont été très intéressantes. À part la session sur l'intelligence artificielle et Kabbalah, il y a d'autres sessions sur Wikidata. Aujourd'hui, Wikidata est en train de prendre l'ampleur en fait en Afrique, parce que c'est la plateforme qui est, en tout cas, le projet de Wikimedia, qui est l'un des projets les plus récents depuis 2010, je crois, et qui aujourd'hui touche réellement en fait les réalités en termes de besoin de données, en termes de besoin de données structurées, que connaissent en fait les universitaires, les chercheurs, voilà, les praticiens, les professionnels de la data et tout. Et donc, il y a eu énormément de sections, que ce soit au niveau de la presse conférence ou que ce soit en interne dans la conférence, des démonstrations en fait autour de Wikidata sur comment utiliser les requêtes Sparkle et comment utiliser les outils, des nouveaux outils Wikidata qui ont été déployés, des outils qui ont été déployés autour de Wikidata. Récemment, j'ai suivi également une communication de Yamen de Wikimedia Tunisie qui parlait réellement de comment est-ce qu'on arrive à inclure en fait les personnes, les non-voyants à travers en fait des outils développés sur la base de Wikidata. Et donc, c'est des sessions qui sont vraiment intéressantes et très enrichissantes. Donc, je pense que cette conférence-là est complète en termes d'organisation, complète en termes de sessions qui pourraient être organisées et très enrichissant, que bien sûr que je serais vraiment intéressé de pouvoir partager avec la communauté un peu plus tard. Et pour finir, je pense qu'il y a une dernière session que j'ai beaucoup aimée, c'est la session sur Wikis. Wikis, c'est un jeu destiné en fait aux tout petits à partir de 12 ans où on peut en fait aider à améliorer, aider les enfants à leur montrer comment améliorer les articles sur Wikipédia.
The Qs.
Non, Wikis.
Okay.
Wikis.
Wikis.
Yeah,
Y.
yes. Il y a cette session-là qui est formidable et c'est un jeu que nous pensons pouvoir répéter en fait au Togo un peu plus tard parce qu'on est déjà en collaboration avec les équipes françaises qui voudraient en fait qu'on propose des sessions à faire avec les jeunes au sein de l'organisation. Et donc, c'est une session qu'on va mettre en œuvre.
C'est tellement génial.
Sans oublier également Kiwis, dont je suis en fait un ambassadeur depuis quelques mois. Donc, après avoir accompli en fait tout le programme et j'ai été bien reçu, j'ai réussi le programme d'ailleurs. Donc, je suis très content d'être un ambassadeur de Kiwis. Donc, j'ai encore suivi la session et voilà, c'est toujours très enrichissant de pouvoir parler de Kiwis parce qu'en fait, on est dans un contexte africain. Et dans un contexte africain, c'est voilà, les besoins, c'est essayer de démocratiser l'Internet, essayer de faire en sorte que les gens dépendent de moins en moins d'Internet dans les milieux reculés, surtout dans les milieux reculés. Donc, c'est quelque chose qui me passionne toujours. Donc, voilà, toutes ces sessions-là, c'est des choses qui m'ont réellement touché. Et je pense bien évidemment répéter dans mon pays. Merci.
Thank you so much, Nani, for sharing that clip. And that was Frank from Wikimedia User Group Togo, talking about the AI session that was held around, how do we fit into the current times in AI world, with chat, GPT, and the rest. And he also mentioned the wikis, the WIKEYS game for kids, to sort of learn how to contribute to the free encyclopedia. So yeah, that's according to Frank were the moments that were remarkable or intriguing for him. And then the last question we asked of the attendees was about learnings from the conference that they would love to perhaps share with the local communities when they got back home. But first, we have Carol and Pellagia here. Carol mentioned the lightning talks. So, Carol, it was indeed a good learning opportunity for many attendees. Myself, in particular, what aspect of the conference are you eager to, share with your local community, Carol?
I think I want to share about what most I'm very, very eager is to talk about what I learned during the post-conference, the librarians post-conference on Wikibase. I didn't have an opportunity earlier to learn about Wikibase. So I'll be very eager to share that with my community. And of course, as a librarian, what I saw in the National Library Singapore. I'm also eager to share the experience, just the general experience, like about the coordination, about diversity, about anything I learned. I learned so much until one of my fellow Wikimedian, who is a librarian, wanted us to have a face-to-face conversation, like, hey, can we meet and you tell me everything you learned? So I think I have so much to share that I will have to narrow it definitely down, but for individuals who want for me to share their experiences, my experience, I will be able to share with them. But basically, I think I learned a bit of everything in every session that I attended. From the first day I got into the conference room, because I had purposed to strictly go and learn as much as I could. So I have this whole thing I will be sharing with my community, with my colleagues at work, and everybody else. Yeah.
Your community is so lucky to have you there, because I mean, with all these things you've listed out, eBay's, the stuff around the topics you picked up at the lightning talks, and then the post conference. That's a lot. That's a lot, and we are looking forward to seeing the impact of these learning in your local community in no distant time. And how about you, Pelagia? I mean, what learnings are you hoping to share with your local community?
Mhm. There's so many things to share, but I think I'll go with some of the activities which I was able to listen and explore. For me, women, gender gap, especially from my community, women, they are not well aware of whatever is going on in Wikipedia. Most of them, they find it as a very complicated thing. When you introduce the wiki activities like how to edit and all that, they find it as, oh, that thing is very complicated, I cannot join. And also the issue of IP blocking, it makes them to be disappointed sometimes. So as I attended the Wiki Women discussion, it was a very good opportunity for me to see what other women are doing. There's some women who have like a group. So for me, I think it's a very good opportunity to introduce the wiki activities to women in order to reduce the gender gap. As we see, like 15% of women are contributing to wiki activities, Wikipedia. So to reduce the gap, I want to introduce some of the activities to women. And also, I was able to attend some of the session like Wikidata. Before, I wasn't aware, I wasn't good that much on our Wikidata. So I made some interest on Wikidata, Wikisource, ChatGPT, OpenStreetMap. So I think some of these projects, I can introduce it to my community. Yeah. But also, sorry, I forgot something. As I'm doing key weeks to my country, I was able to meet James, if I'm not mistaken. James, he has this device, Raspberry Pi device, as you can access Kiwix, no need of installing the device. So I was able to see that device, and I was very interested to have it to my community so that I can simplify this work of Kiwix to schools, as we had so many challenges in installation of the device. So once you have that Raspberry Pi device, it is very helpful, especially in school. So that's all the things.
Thank you so much, Pelagia. Yes, you can uh, go around trying to close the gender gap on the wikis, but also in the various communities. There's still this gap in terms of the number of females contributing to the Wikimedia project. So we are rooting for you as you go ahead to implement that particular initiative. And of course, the initiative around Wikisource, Wikidata, and everything you just mentioned. Thank you so much. And now let's hear what the other Wikimaniacs had to say about the initiative or learnings they will take back to their community.
I think for every conversation that we want to drive, we need to be part of those conversations. And this is something that I'm going to say to Namibia. If you really want to make Wikipedia work and you want to make the Wikimedia Foundation known in Namibia, this is our chance, this is our time to make sure that we come on board and also document our culture. The issue of the issue of culture and the issue of representation, I think this is the high time that we should come on board and then focus on our representation in Africa at large and also global to Kenya. Awesome.
As I said, I have learned a lot of things here, and the thing that I got here that will be good to share with the community. I got chance to learn the Kiwis, yeah. That is, in my place there is challenge of networking, so I'll be able to share the knowledge of Kiwis with my community so that they can retrieve information from the Wikipedia, doing their research offline.
Je pense que cette immersion est une belle opportunité pour encore impliquer davantage mes collaborateurs parce que, il faut le dire, c'est un mouvement libre, il n'y a pas de salaire. Il faut se connecter, il faut prendre de son temps pour contribuer. Et c'est pas tout le monde qui arrive à comprendre l'aspect bénévolat de ce mouvement. Ce n'est pas tout le monde qui arrive à comprendre qu'il faut donner du sien pour écrire sur le continent, pour écrire sur l'Afrique. Alors, quand je vais retourner au Burkina Faso, voici ce que je vais faire. Je vais organiser une session avec les miens pour partager tout ce que j'ai vécu ici, pour leur montrer à quel point ce mouvement est important et comment on doit mieux s'organiser pour être plus impactant dans ce qu'on fait. C'est génial.
Thank you so much, Nani, for sharing that amazing clip about what they will be taking back to their respective communities. And coming back to you, Carol, looking back at the entire setup, from the time you got a scholarship up to arriving and departing Singapore as a first-time in-person Wikimania conference attendee, do you feel like you were adequately supported by the core organizing team? And if yes, what elements of these support helped you the most? And if no, what support would you have loved, to have had? Please share with us, Carol.
I think from the time I got into the to Santec, at least I will say the first impression was there were people even directing to where the conference is. So it was very easy for anyone to know where to get in and which room to get into and if you are lost. So I think there was great support from the planners, the co-organizing team. And throughout the days of the conference, there was a lot of, people showing you around, people making sure you're not lost. And I also got great support from Wikimedia Deutschland. So for me, my support was great. And generally, maybe I will say what was overwhelming. The many conference sessions, the sessions were extremely, it got to a point I think I got overwhelmed because everything was, you want to attend everything, you want to attend the light talks, so it was quite overwhelming to have all those programs packed together. So that was what overwhelmed me, but generally I got great support. I never felt stranded in the middle of Singapore or not knowing remembering how huge Santec was, not knowing where to find my entrance and all that. So for me, to the co-organizing team, they did an amazing job.
Nice. I hope some members of the co-organizing team, I hope some members are here to, witness this very interesting testimony about how helpful they were. And I, for one, would also like to mention, I think the very first day, we had to go to the Google Asia and Pacific headquarters. So myself and a few others, missed the bus that took everybody. But then just walking to the registration counter, those guys were very helpful. They, had me directed to this local app that showed the various bus terminals and whatnot. And like that, we on our own found our way to the Google headquarters, without any special help on the way. And I also use the opportunity to really say that the residents, I mean the citizens of Singapore, are very hospitable and always very helpful. You know, to many of us. I remember on one occasion we didn't have cash because we had not gotten our net card as of that first day. So we didn't have cash to pay for the bus ride from Suntec to, oh, sorry, from where they call Promenade, which is one of the local parks, to the Google Center. And strangers on the bus, ladies and gentlemen, gave us $2 to do that, and it was intriguing, you know, experiencing that. And I must confess, it was fun. And how about you, Pelagia? You know, in terms of support, what elements of the support were most useful to you? And in case you didn't feel supported, what support would you have loved to have as a first-time in-person attendee?
The organizing team did well. For me, in terms of responsiveness, they are very responsive. Like when you ask anything, they respond to us as much as they can. So they did a very nice job, as you know, like to manage these many communities. It's something so big. So for me, they are so nice, and also people from Singapore, they are very helpful in terms of showing us, like when you ask them anything about it, maybe you want to go somewhere, they used to help us to respond in a very good way. So it was nice, I think.
Yes, yes. I specifically want to commend Iska precisely. You know, she was up and doing, even when it was not so encouraging. She would still show up and, you know, let you know that we are here for you. Whatever issues you are having will be sorted out ASAP. In fact, she was as hands-on as sometimes when it's probably midnight in Singapore, she's up replying to Telegram chats or, you know, getting on the phone on Telegram calls to help sort people out. So definitely the co-organizing team, they literally outdid themselves. Thank you for sharing that, Pelagia and Carol. And of course, a movement as big as ours would love to improve progressively when it comes to conferences, especially in-person conferences. If you were to give any recommendations at all to the Wikimania 2023 core team, what would the recommendations be? Starting with you, Carol. Maybe one.
Sorry, I'm getting a co-present penta here with me. So for me, I think I'm lucky that Kenya didn't have to have a visa to Singapore. So that was very lucky for me. I think in terms of visa, especially for Africans around the world, maybe one recommendation is to have um, the announcements for the scholarship as early as possible so that people can be able to hustle through on how to get visas, because I think that is the biggest setback that we are facing as Africans. And I remember one of our Wiki Loves Women lady got her scholarship the day she was supposed to travel, which has also happened to me in the past. So maybe early preparation for those who need the visas, and also support from the community that is hosting the conference. Something else that I think I have mentioned is the having so many sessions at the same time, and they get so packed, and it's sometimes it's overwhelming. So maybe to put fewer sessions. I know it's quite tasking even to come up with such a program, but then again, how many people will you get into a room and find just the presenter and two people, and yet we have other rooms or other sessions that have so many people. So that is something maybe that can be considered in future. But generally, I don't know how long the visa issues are going to follow us as Africans, but early preparation sometimes do help. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carol. And I happen to have been one of those who experienced the visa hassle, and it was not a sweet experience, I must confess. And yes, I can see that Butch is one of the attendees here, and I'm sure he will take this back to the co-organizing team. And then talking about sessions, you know, yes, we definitely need to find a way to make the sessions more relaxing so that people could, like for me, in a day, I usually plan to attend like 3 or 4 sessions. And then in the end, I manage with like one or two, you know, because there's a lot going on. So perhaps with time, we definitely could find a way to have a much more relaxing, you know, conference around the Wikimedia space. How about you, Pelagia? Any recommendations?
Uh, I had the same thing which Carol said, like the session was back-to-back session, so people were like very tired sometimes, and this you might have a presentation, but you have a very short time, and so I think next time they need to find a way, like maybe to have very few sessions, and sorry, not a very few, but like to manage time. You might have a good presentation, but time is very limited. So that is my recommendation. But also at the end, I would say like they did a very great job in terms of managing all all communities around the world.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And sincerely, it's not a small feat coordinating, you know, various attendees from across the globe. And yet again, there is the need to, you know, relax the sessions so that people can actively attend. And yes, with that, I would say that the recommendations you just mentioned would definitely be relayed back to the core organizing team. And thank you very much, Carol and Pelagia, for the detailed responses you've given to the questions asked so far. It's amazing listening to, you know, your Wikimania 2023 conference experience in Singapore. Perhaps someone from the audience would have a question or two or more for either of you. So please, if you have any questions for them, just type it. Oh, that's Butch asking. Did you enjoy the karaoke Wiki fashion show?
Unfortunately for me, I did not manage the karaoke, but I loved the Wiki fashion show, and I can't wait for it to be this huge fashion event. It was really nice too, and especially because there are so many people from around the world that are bringing their swag to the fashion week. So that was quite outstanding. Yeah.
That's a very interesting submission, Carol. I mean, a full blown fashion show. Maybe we roll out red carpet and have
Yes.
us walking down the red carpet. How about you? Like fashion show or karaoke?
I, no karaoke, no, but fashion show I was able to attend and see Nanor and what was that? Obi. Yeah, they did something interesting.
That's interesting. I wasn't able to attend the fashion show, but then I heard obviously was a menace, if I would say, in the right way. She stole the show from the rest of the Wikimedians there, and you know that's basically that's basically you know the fun part of a fashion show. Someone has to steal the show. And with that, I had gathered some questions from the community. And the first says, did you, oh, okay, did you volunteer at the Wikimedia conference or you will be writing a report? And what do you think about the volunteer option? Carol, you can go first.
Okay. I now that I did not get the scholarship through
Yes. Okay.
yeah. So maybe what I can do is just sharing my learnings with my community. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, how about you, Pelagia? Did you volunteer at the conference or you be writing a report? And what do you think about the volunteer option?
Yeah, I did. I did like a documenting some of the project, like some of the presentation. But I think they need to find a very good way in documenting. I remember like we had in Wikindaba, we had to document in Etherpad at the very same time. So I think next time it would be good if you document it in Etherpad and in the very specific session so that you cannot be overloaded in the other sessions. Yeah.
That's the point to note. Thank you for sharing that. And the other community question I have is, what advice would you like to give maybe first time in-person attendees to a Wikimedia conference? Starting with you, Carol.
I think depending on where they are, first thing when they get the scholarship, they need to know where their passport is. Otherwise, they'll end up missing the whole thing, because actually I never knew where my passport was, to be sincere. I had to look for it. And I think also what really helped me was searching on the requirements of Singapore. What do I need to travel to Singapore? What documents do I need to have with me? So that was, I think, the second. Once I knew where my passport was, I went through with I had a to-do list of the things that I was needed. Like we were needed yellow fever vaccine. I was able to search all those things even before I went to see the programs and all that. What are the requirements for me to get to Singapore? I think that is really, really important. And well, again, also identifying, like, it's such a long to-do list. There are those countries, and the best thing, all the information also was on the Wikimania page, so it was very easy, and also very easy to just find information online. Then I think the second thing is, once now everything is confirmed, like appointments, visa appointments, and all those. And we were supposed, I think, like for Singapore, to fill an arrival card. So also you need to like know what each country require. And I think once I was settled, I now went ahead to identify what sessions would interest me, and I marked them in my calendar. Yes, so I had a reminder. I had a reminder all the time, like tomorrow I know I have this session. So I literally saved everything on Google Calendar. I also saved literally my travel time on Google Calendar. I was traveling on Tuesday midnight, so I knew I needed to be at the airport on Monday. For me, on Monday around 10 p.m., for me not to miss my flight. So everything, you have to really know the requirements. Even, yeah, I see Ayla is talking about, before you even apply the scholarship, know what is the requirement for Poland as a Kenyan. What do I need for me to start even applying? So those were the things I did. I had a long to-do list, and I kept ticking everything for to know what I don't have and what I needed to have here.
Carol, allow me to say that you're a very interesting conference companion to have, because
And even, sorry, let me add, I also identifying what am I not supposed to what are the rules of the country, like Singapore and chewing gum. Yeah, such small things will make you not get to a country. Yeah, so
thank you so much. In fact, perhaps we should we, we should have you volunteer to write the manual for first
yes.
in-person activities for, let's say, this year's weekend that will happen in Morocco. Thank you for sharing. And how about you, Pelagia? Do you have anything to add to perhaps an advice for first-time in-person attendees to a Wikimedia conference?
Yeah, for me, I would advise like once you want to go for any conference, you have to know like which session are you interested with, so that once you are in, you cannot just go anywhere. Like it's kind of confusion sometimes. So you need to know what session you're interested with. That's the first thing. Then also explore the country. If you have time to explore, you have to do it as much as you can. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And yes, I couldn't agree more when you said explore the country. You know, for me, I tactically had to trek a lot because I knew I might never have time to explore the country. So I did a lot of trekking, which afforded me time to see some places in Singapore. And I don't regret it. It was not in a massage session, couldn't address when I got home. Entirely was fun and it was worth it. Thank you so much for those responses you've given to these questions, and thank you both for asking about the karaoke and the fashion show. And to close, Wikimedia conferences are amazing opportunities for our heavily virtual community to interface and interact amongst ourselves towards a better Wikimedia movement. We, however, are yet to have an absolute grip around various impact levels for the attendees of our various Wikimedia conferences, especially for first-time attendees who find themselves at a global conference like the Wikimania conference. Is it enough to just award them scholarships? How better can we support first-time attendees? How can we curate our conversations between new Wikimedians, fairly experienced Wikimedians, and very experienced Wikimedians at various Wikimedia conferences to make sure that the conversations are beneficial to each party? How do we ensure that learning outcomes are felt in local communities and inculcated in future conferences? These are questions that we indeed should continue to think about as Wikimedians and as we discuss conferences. On behalf of the Wiki in Africa team, I say a very big thank you, Pellagia Njau and Mwaura, for finding time to honor our invitation. I also thank everyone for showing up and staying with us. And with that, I say have a good weekend and see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
This episode of WikiAfrica Hour was hosted by Ceslaus Obanaya. Let us know what topics you want to discuss and join us next month on the same channels. Subscribe to the Wiki in Africa YouTube channel and follow WikiAfrica on social media.